The Sumerians resided in Sumer, which was located in the southernmost part of Mesopotamia. The Sumerians were around from about 5000 BC to 1750 BC. Through that time, they believed in several gods, also being known as polytheistic. Sumer meant land of the civilized kings, while the Sumerians called themselves the black-headed people. These civilized kings were supposedly the first civilization to have a city. This city was called Ur. Other than being the first to have a city, the Sumerians invented the wheel, writing, and other different inventions. The Sumerians had their own unique set of values that was a significant part of their lives. We mentioned that the Sumerians believed in many gods, whom they worshipped every day of their lives, feeling indebted to them for creating us. The Sumerians had an epic about a man named Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh was a man made by the gods. He was deemed to be granted the perfect body. The gods created another like Gilgamesh who was a man named Enkidu. Gilgamesh and Enkidu soon became friends and later on had a more intimate relationship. This shows that the Sumerians were quite accepting of homosexuality. Historians have said that later on when the cultures changed, women's rights also changed. But when the Sumerian culture thrived, women usually did the tasks at home, preparing food, raising the children, etc. However, women could still have positions with power, like a priestess. There was still a slight imbalance. For example, if a woman cheated on their husbands, they were killed, while men who cheated could pay a fine. As was mentioned earlier, the Sumerians were polytheistic and worshipped multiple gods. The gods had human-like characteristics, but were immortal and were also greatly feared. There were 7 main gods: An, Enlil, Enki, Utu, Ninhursag, Inanna, and Nana. There was a time where the earth was inhabited by human-like gods. The gods had to carry out tasks on earth that they soon thought were too exhausting. Enki and Enlil had an idea that would take care of the issue. Another god was slaughtered and his remains and blood were mixed with clay. The first ever human being was created from this mixture and we were set out to perform the gods' tasks on earth, serving them until death. At first, humans could not have children by themselves, so Enki and Ninki changed this, allowing humans to reproduce independently. However, this decision was made without the consent of Enlil. Conflict arose and Enlil became an adversary to the human race. The Sumerians' beliefs in death were on the gloomier side of afterlife myths, and people were afraid of those who were dead, dying, or ill. The Mesopotamians had an underworld which was under the power of a goddess, Queen Ereshkigal and her husband, Nergal. Most bodies were buried under their home, while royalty would be buried in real cemeteries. According to the story, the death of Ur-Nammu and his descent into the underworld. After a king died, he was given a special place to live and power of deceased warriors. He received those benefits because of his social status and how he worshipped the gods from his former life. Moving away from the underworld, the Sumerians believed that the gods had power over all the lands on earth and some gods represented different parts of the world. It was also believed that if the gods were upset, chaotic environmental events would happen. There is a myth called Inanna's descent to the underworld. Inanna goes to the underworld that was ruled by her sister Ereshkigal. Ereshkigal wasn't happy with her arrival, so she arranged things which led Inanna to become powerless. Ereshkigal soon kills Inanna, but she was arrived by servants who were sent by Enki. Inanna could not leave without a substitute taking her place, leading Inanna's husband and his sister to be chosen. While Inanna's husband is on Earth, the lands become fertile and rich, but when he leaves for a stay in the underworld, the lands turn barren and fruitless. Today, what used to be Sumer is now mostly Iraq and Kuwait. The majority of the religions are Abrahamic, specifically Islam. The same cities are no longer in place, and the former deities are no longer worshipped in this area. The ancient Sumerian religion is no longer practiced, but has been preserved in books and museums.
Created using Powtoon.